Chris Burke joins us right now, college baseball analyst with ESPN and the SEC Network, former SEC Player of the Year. How about his junior season? 435 at the plate with 20 bombs and 49 stolen bases. Went on to play 6 years in the bigs. Burkey, what's up, my man? It's been far too long.
Yeah, you've been dodging me this year. I see how it is.
Yeah, that's not exactly how it works, but fair enough. Hey, before we jump into the SEC stuff, your boy Dan McDonald, Burkey lives in Louisville now, rattled some cages this week and got some results. What do you make of it?
Yes. Well, I mean, like I tweeted, the squeaky wheel usually gets oiled, and he certainly did. It's just funny that it takes that, but I don't know if you've ever done a game at U of L, but literally Churchill Downs is a 4-iron away. Like, it's right behind the park. So, when there's 55,000 people at Churchill Downs on a Saturday, and on a Tuesday, Dan McDonald's playing Vanderbilt, and he's got 300 people in a 5,000-seat stadium, that doesn't go real well with the skipper. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Understandably so. We've been fortunate in Mississippi. Big crowds for both Mississippi State and Ole Miss. The governor kind of relaxed things a little bit sooner than most other places, so it's been kind of cool. Let's start with Mississippi State. This team's sitting at number 4 in the country. RPI is in great shape. Looks like as long as they play well down the stretch, they're on pace to be a national seed. Maybe two fronts. What do you really like about Mississippi State, and do you have any concerns about the Bulldogs?
I did. I was worried about their offense for a while. I did their series against Kentucky, which, ironically was a sweep, but the offense was not real pretty to look at. And really, that's been their turning point. They went to Auburn the next weekend and went bonkers. I like what Brad Cumbas has given them. Not just from a production standpoint, which obviously is the point, but he's also a presence. That dude fills up the batter's box. And they don't really have that. There's some really good hitters in that lineup besides him, but nobody that physically is daunting like Ole Miss seems to have like a dozen of, So, I feel like that piece has been fixed. Fristow has not been very consistent for them, but fortunately for them, they can weather that because they have so many different pieces to go to out of the bullpen. But, man, there's not a whole lot of picking at Mississippi State. There's not too many holes there, Richard.
Tell me this from a hitter's standpoint. If you're facing a guy like Landon Sims, who's got a really good breaking ball, but it's about the fastball, and he's, 94, 95, 96, and it's that high spin deal that stays up. How do you hit that ball? Because hitters have had zero success against him.
Yeah, I think you got to take your 3 best swings to try to get the head out. Like, you can't really let the ball travel off of a high spin rate guy because the barrel is going to naturally work low to high. On plane, so to speak, not to get too techie, but on plane is technically below, right? The ball's on its way down. So to be on plane with the pitch, you're actually below it the frame before contact, right? Well, the further you catch the ball out in front, the more the barrel is moving up, the better chance you have to run into a ball that is tricking your eyes, right? So if the ball has a traditional downward trajectory, I can catch it deep and still run into the middle of the ball. But if it's holding its plane longer than most and I catch it deep, I'm going to be under it. I'm going to miss it, pop it up, whatever. So to me, you got to just go, hey, bro, if you land 3 breaking balls and I don't recognize them, you win. The first 2 swings, I'm trying to hit a ball from the shortstop to the left field line, and we'll see what happens. That's what I would do.
Interesting approach. We were talking with Ben McDonald a couple of weeks ago. He said he had asked Bregman about that, and Bregman said his approach with a high, not Landon Sims in particular, but with a high spin rate, he said, I'm trying to hit the ball on the ground. Like I'm trying to tell myself, hit the top of the ball because it stays on plane, you're naturally going to be a little bit lower on the ball, and maybe you get a line drive, maybe you hit it out of the ballpark. But if you approach it where you're trying to hit it on top and hit the ball on the ground, you can almost play a trick on your mind. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a very common way of thought. Bregman's one of the best at it, and there's people have been trying to copy that for the last couple of years because he's been so successful. And that's not a new school of thought. Hey, the dude's throwing the ball up. Let's try to get on top of the ball, quote unquote. The problem with that is some people will actually change their path to do that, and then you start actually swinging down, and that's not a good thing. So, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that school of thought if it doesn't actually change the plane of your swing. For me, I think it would be easier to just try to catch it out in front and ambush him early in the count. But I certainly would, if I was coaching a team, I would try a number of different avenues, all from the standpoint of understanding that the normal miss with a guy like Sims is the barrel is below the ball. So whatever we can do to try to get the barrel up to the ball, that's what we got to do.
Gotcha. Chris Burke on the Farm Bureau phone line. We get a message on our text line that says, I'll never forget the 2005 NLDS Game 4. Burke walk-off against the Braves in the 18th inning to move on. Go Stros. You remember that, don't you?
Who hit you with that?
It's our buddy Tucker in Brookhaven, who is an Astros fan in Mississippi.
Oh, what's up, Tucker? Appreciate it, bro. I thought he was about to bring up the. I thought he was about to bring up the tweet that our buddy, who's our buddy that Jeff Passan tweeted out today that Albert Pujols' home run off Brad Lidge was still his most memorable home run he's ever seen in person. I'm like, come on, man, dude hit 667 home runs. You couldn't come up with a different one. You know,
you got to do better than that.
That one still stings a little bit.
Yeah, understandably so.
A little bit.
hey, let's go to.
Well, the thing about that home run, Richard. The thing about that home run is we actually won that series. So even though Pujols' homer broke our hearts, we won the next game. It's kind of one of those forgotten sidebars about that homer because that homer was so memorable. But we actually still won that series. Anyway,
let the record show. Let's go down the road just a bit to Oxford. Same question about Ole Miss that I asked you about Mississippi State. What do you like about Ole Miss, and what concerns you about the Rebels at this point?
What I like about Ole Miss is they've got two veteran starters that you can really count on. Hopefully Hoglin's healthy. How are we feeling about that right now? Is he looking pretty good?
He bounced back. Right? He went 6 innings, 9 hits, or 9 strikeouts, 1 hit last week.
Yeah.
He's good.
And then they got a real dude at the back end, and it looks like they've figured out some pieces they can trust on the way there, right? So I feel good about Ole Miss's pitching. Help me out. How in the world? I have still not heard how Elko was able to hit the other day. How did that happen? And is that something that's going to continue to happen?
I don't think he can DH, and he can't play defense, but they think, and they've gone through some sim games with him, some simulated games with him. I was told that in 10 at-bats he hit 3 Oppo bombs in a simulated game, and he's getting enough off of that torn ACL to be able to hit and feel good about it, just can't run.
So they haven't repaired it yet, is the thing.
No.
They haven't done the surgery. I got it.
Yeah, they just decided that
because I played – go ahead.
No, he just said he wanted to wait and see if he could come back through rehab. They know they've got to do the surgery eventually, but it said it couldn't hurt it any worse.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I actually have had a buddy that played an entire and this dude was like a scratch player, played an entire golf season with a blown ACL. So, I've heard of people being able to torque their knee from a swinging standpoint with the torn ACL. Is the plan that no matter where he hits it, just get to first base, basically, if it stays in the park? Is that kind of the deal?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I don't think he's trying to leg out a double at this point. I mean, unless it's one where he can jog the entire way.
Right, yeah. No, I just think that's a fascinating storyline. I like Ole Miss's offense. There's depth there. There's power there. not a ton of speed. I'd like to see, the one thing that I feel like traditionally with Ole Miss's offense is that maybe, especially here recently, I feel like it's maybe a little home run dependent, if that's fair.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to like about Ole Miss, and especially after they rebounded against LSU and then swept South Carolina, you'd like to feel like they've turned the corner now and have weathered that really, really tough part of their schedule.
We'll see how it shakes out. It's going to be a fun final 3 weeks in the league. Burke, we got to do this again soon, man. You're the one that's been avoiding me.
Yeah, man, quit blowing me off. I'll be on the call this weekend for the Rebs. So this is my first time doing a couple of their games, so I'm really excited about that.
Look forward to watching you. That'll be Ole Miss at Texas A&M. Mississippi State is at South Carolina. Burke, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.